In Greensboro, a push to smooth over racial tensions through prayer and food. Mission Greensboro hosted a cooking competition that invited anyone and everyone from around the Triad today. People got to enjoy the weather, taste food from different chefs, and then they prayed with a Mission Greensboro member. Mission Greensboro is a group that aims to build better relationships with diverse populations through events that simply bring the public together.
And we believe that the absolute best way for us to understand one another is through meaningful relationships. You know, a couple of years ago, Steve didn't understand the black world, and I definitely didn't understand the white world. But through building meaningful relationships, we now have a better understanding of what it's like to be white in white America and black in white America.
And they hope more events like today can build a better community one step at a time.